Earlier in the year, we decided that as a community foundation, we award our grants. One last introduction, Lori Bauer from BauerCom. Sorry, I told you mornings are not my thing, right? The Community Foundation awards grants to organizations throughout the county. We do so based on application process typically, but we also do so if a donor has selected an organization and so forth. In the process, we have determined that sometimes we're doing just based on the applications. We're not necessarily getting a systemic change with our organizations or a systemic change in our communities. So our efforts now are designed to connect the grant dollars with change and work in our communities to make sure that we're actually meeting the priorities of the residents. So we conducted this survey earlier in the year. This is the first of a 3-year process. So if you did not participate in the spring, there will be 2 other opportunities to participate. But what we're trying to do is to help understand how our communities are unique, what our strengths and our most pressing challenges are, how we can create a consensus on local priorities, how we can rally our local focus on our most pressing needs, and then mobilize actions, and then how we can better collaborate across the county. One of the 2 reflections and ideas or questions that we wanted to come from this are what are major themes in our communities, what makes our community unique, and who are our most notable leaders. We also asked, why do we ask about the local residents and who we named as local leaders, and then what are the percentages of the people in the community that need to be engaged to make a lasting change. So these are some of the things that we're trying to gather from our survey data. Here are comments that we received about our communities. They're homey and easy to live in, small town, great schools, Swedish culture identity, how nice everyone is, a good place to live, vibrant business district. We take pride in our communities. All of these comments really led to us understanding that it's about the people, it's about us. It's not just whether or not it's the economic side of it. But it matters that we're working together. It matters that each of us are combining our efforts. So this is leading us in our direction as far as our granting and so forth. We did ask in each community, who are perceived leaders. We have several of those leaders here today. If your name is on the list, if you received an email from me saying that you were named, will you please stand? Don't be shy. Rick? No, it's not. Thank you so much. There are others that I see in the room that had already registered that I didn't send a specific email. On the list, we have the people who are here you consider to be leaders, and they're here. They're at the table. So we also have the people that are the public that filled it out, gave us great insight and so forth. So we appreciate all the work that all of you do, and we're grateful to have you here.
Well, good morning. I am Betsy Davis, and I think I was out of the room during introduction. So if you guys haven't met me before, hi. My card is in your bag, so you can reach me, email me, call me, show up at the office. I can be available if need be. So we are going to start looking at our county benchmarking survey report. And I'm going to kind of walk you through the report. Becky talked about the first page about just like the overall perceptions, the anecdotes, the who the leaders are. And so we're going to actually start on page 2. And for the time being, we are going to talk about the county. What's up on the screen is not the county, it's Galva, if you're interested in like squinting your eyes to see what Galva says, but your county one should be up in front of you. So this is the aggregate of all of our communities. In your community report, the gray line will be the county average. Looking at page 2, we investigate the economies and priorities of the county, and we can see that in general, our economic outlook is very good, with high positive responses in job opportunities, business conditions, both now and in the future. This does vary by community, but overall countywide is high. We also see what is ranked highest in terms of priorities. Improving infrastructure, removing blight, part of the vibrant place category. Expand access to childcare and affordable housing, a healthy citizen category. And attracting new businesses, economy category, being the top 5 countywide. Some questions you may want to keep in mind as you're viewing your page is, how do our residents perceive local economic confidence? What priorities and metrics do our residents want us to focus on? What type of businesses do our residents want in our community? And how do you use the insights local priorities to mobilize actions? And we will talk a lot more about this later on in the morning. We also see our priority metrics, and these will be something that we will use later on to see if the work on the priorities that the county has chosen are moving in the right direction. And the county has chosen a lot of economic priorities, increased increased number of businesses, household income, and decreasing child poverty rate. This is showing the economic conditions, observations as communities. So we have current employment, current business conditions, future business conditions, employment, and future income. Again, this is broken down by community, and the slide shows the difference between the community. You can visually see the communities with the highest confidence, and you can see that by the most part, we do have high averages for future opportunities, while the current is a little bit more varied. For reference, the county average is the light blue line in the middle. And so hopefully all the names and colors line up well. You will be able to see this data for your community in your community's report, but the county is the little blue line. Now we're going to take a quick look at priorities, and this is a very busy graph, but we can visually see what the respondents identified as priorities. Again, remove and renovate rundown properties, improve public infrastructure, expand access to quality and affordable housing, expand access to affordable childcare, and attract new businesses, being in the top 5. This is not the top 5 for all the communities in the county, but as a county in total, those are the 5 that ranked highest. And you can see if on the chart where different communities lie, but overall, the blue line is the county average, which is at the very bottom. And again, we do see here that vibrant place, healthy citizens, and resilient economy rates highest as our priorities. And here is the county-wide metrics. These are the metrics chosen by the county to determine future success. There are more economic metrics here in the top 5 than any other category, and with health and community rounding that out. This again shows the communities at a glance, as well as the average in your report on page 2. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of time just to kind of look at your stuff. When I start talking again, we'll be moving on to page 3. You might note also on the bottom of page 3, there are some notable economic observations, and this is just kind of a thought based off of the data that we collected. So looking at page 3, we have our economic metrics. And this is the economic picture in our county with sales tax, median income, unemployment rate, poverty rate, jobs, and businesses in town. This is stuff that is found from USCB as a American Community, which is the site, and it is just, again, a county average. For reference, when you guys look at your individual community reports, this will be included just to kind of as a comparative. Going on to page 4, this is again information collected by our survey in the county, and again, it's the county averages. And as a whole, they are, we see that we have a lot of community confidence and community pride. One thing that surprised me was the citizen commitment that you see in the middle, that being incredibly high, which tells me that we have in McPherson County a citizenry that is dedicated to our towns, to our counties, and to improvements. Also included on this page is overall population trends, both in population size and in age. Overall county confidence ratings, again, this is a zoomed out view of our assessed communities in terms of confidence, with the average being on the right. Again, you see here that that our communities have on average a very high community confidence in their community that they live in. This is broken down a little bit more. The three spaces are leadership, commitment, and vision. In terms of leadership, commitment, and vision, what are the strengths that you see in the community, and do we see any patterns? I see, for one, commitment being incredibly high across the board, with vision being a little lower. And then we have it broken down just a little bit further, still in that leadership, commitment, and vision, but we now can see it broken down into fairness, trust, and pathways. In commitment, emotional and obligatory. And for vision, we have vision, plan, and doing. Again, commitment and trust in leadership is incredibly high across the county, and I think across the board in most communities. And I'll give you guys a little bit of time to look at that. Again, over in the lower left-hand corner, there are some just observations on the community perceptions from extrapolated from the data. If you guys would like to move on to page 5, this is a current snapshot of community metrics. This is a 10-year look at trends and an indicator on whether the metric is improving, staying the same, or decreasing in your county report. Again, is the county as a whole, and then when you look at your individual communities, there will be a gray line for county, as well as for some of these, there will also be the Kansas average included on some that are available. When looking at these charts, it kind of begs the, Looking at these charts, it begs the question, where are some challenges? Where are some positive signs that we see? Where are our most pressing needs? And also, with all of the charts, is there anything on there that surprises me? Is this different than what I thought to be true in our community? We will allow time later to look at both your community and county data as we move on to page 6 on the back, is the reflections and the demographics of who participated in the survey. So countywide, we had 660 responses, and on your county or your communities, you will see how many people responded that identified as being from your community. You can see the different demographics based age, occupation, duration of residence, etc. We also see the categories where there was too little participation to pull out any statistical patterns. Again, this data on the page is county-wide.